been a second since you guys saw my face on this account. Not that the lighting is very good in this video right now. I really don't feel like closing this window, but I also know that it's making it so I only have half a face. So we'll just try our best to ignore that for right now. I decided that since it's been, a month, maybe more than a month since you actually saw me in a video, it's high time that I did one where I'm sitting here talking to the camera, talking to all you guys. It's a little bit more informal, a little more friendly, feels like you're talking to a friend on like Zoom or something like that. And I wanted to talk about the changes that have come to my YouTube channel. I just finished uploading a short on here, and everything I said in it is extremely true. I mentioned in my last face cam type video before I switched my content on here that the main reason I decided I was going to switch content, well, the main two are: one, because I do suffer with chronic pain. It does get worse over time. It has gotten worse, especially since I got long COVID. And so it's easier to not have to do all this or worry about whether or not I look tired, or people are going to worry about me because I'm having a flare day and it shows on my face, or I haven't been doing well, so I haven't, changed on my pajamas in 2 days. Just sometimes it's easier to do videos that don't involve you needing to set up a camera or your phone and all this audio equipment and stuff, and you can just set up a quick microphone and go. Also, the fact that game-related content, it doesn't take that much planning. I mean, most of the planning that goes into the content I make on here now is basically just set up microphone, make sure microphone is working correctly, and choose game that you want to play, the end. So that change to my content has been making it easier overall for me to put out videos on a more regular schedule than I was before. I think before, because I was doing not really commentary, but more like sit down and talk about current events in my life or current events in general that in some way impact me. If it was like, social issues or something like that. I mean, it was important, but the main two issues that were stemming from it for me personally were: one, you have to sit there and decide whether or not it's a topic that you want to discuss in depth, because even if it's something really important to me, sometimes it was really draining to talk about that stuff. And that's the other side of it. Like, a lot of that content was becoming draining and difficult to talk about. And the fact that when I first made my YouTube channel, I made it because I was like, as most people are, the only goth in town, more or less, even though I'm in a college area. And I was like, hey, I want to find more people like me, not necessarily to create like a friend circle online or anything, but just because it's nice seeing people with a similar mindset and similar likes to yourself. I think everyone wants that to a certain extent. And so I found Goth YouTube, and for that like end of 2017 into 2018 period, it was pretty good. Like, predominantly the people I followed on YouTube were other goth YouTubers. I was having fun, relating to people, being able to discuss things on my channel that I knew those people also understood and could relate to. But then goth YouTube kind of imploded, and it happened for similar reasons to why a lot of different cultures or subcultures on YouTube end up kind of self-destructing. Some of it was egos and jealousy over a select few people actually getting bigger than most of the people on goth YouTube. And you can tell when it's, oh, I don't want this person to have a large platform because they are problematic or they are not a very good person. Here's like the list of terrible things they've done, versus I just personally don't like this person, so now I'm angry that they got all the fame and I didn't. There was definitely some of that stuff going on, and that was uncomfortable. I mean, a lot of us in the subculture have been through things like bullying and harassment just because we're different from other people. So seeing it happen to the extent it was within this subculture was not a fun time, and I was like, I really don't want to be a part of this. Apart from that, there was the issue of an enormous amount of hypocrisy happening, and that was one of the first videos I had on my channel that really took off. It was the first one to get over 1,000 views. I can't even imagine how many it has now, which is hilarious because I look back on that video now and all I had was a shitty little handy cam from Amazon that was like $30. Half the time I was covering the microphone on it, so the audio was going in and out during that video and you could barely hear me because I couldn't figure out where the microphone on the camera was, so my thumb kept hitting it. I'm like, why did you people like watch this thousands of times over? It has a bunch of comments when I couldn't even get the most basic shit for filming down pat yet. But I think it was just the discussion as a whole, the hypocrisy of goth YouTubers, that got people talking. And I still feel the same way about it to this day, only the reasons for the hypocrisy have changed somewhat. So in that video, the main type of hypocrisy I was talking about was like the look of goth. 9 times out of 10, if you're in the vicinity of a person who identifies as being a goth and you say something like, oh, look over there at that girl wearing all black or something to somebody else, like she's such a goth or something, they'll immediately roll their eyes and be like, goth isn't an appearance-based subculture. It is first and foremost a music subculture, which is absolutely true. And it's fine to say, you know, she may be and she might not be, but just remember, like, unless she's listening to goth music, she can't necessarily consider herself a goth person. Fair enough, whatever. But back then, the issue of kill stars started happening. Kill stars started picking up more traction. More and more people were buying in. It was becoming a little more mainstream. And that was pissing off a lot of people. They were making arguments like, well, back in the 80s and the 90s, we had to hand make all of our stuff and, you know, hand style it to look goth because we didn't have these goth in a box stores. And if you're getting goth in a box like Hot Topic or Killstar or Punk Rave or any of that, then you're not a real goth because you're not hand making it. Editing Mads here, I actually realized something while I was looking back at this part of the video and editing it, that the people in the goth subculture, especially online, who are upset because of the fact that people are buying goth fashion online on sites like Killstar and Hot Topic and stuff, and they're angry just because of the fact that that stuff didn't exist back when they were younger goths and stuff in the 80s and 90s, so why should we have it, is the same energy as the boomers who are angry about student loan forgiveness because they had to pay their loan. If they had to struggle, everyone has to struggle. Never mind the fact that there is some ableism in that, because, and some classism, honestly, because not everyone has the means to create their own clothing or to, you know, modify it. And not everyone has the physical dexterity and ability to do that. That was already shitty enough, but it's hilarious that the exact same goth YouTubers who had been arguing till they were blue in the face that goth is a music-based subculture, stop worrying about what people look like, it's not important, it's music-based, you can be wearing jeans and a t-shirt and still be goth. Yet they had several videos in a row where they were ranting about the fact that you're not real goth if you're using certain brands, but then other brands were fine. It was very weird, very contrived. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. And as I mentioned before, it's very hypocritical. And it just never stopped. I was hoping it would be one of these little slumps that a lot of groups on YouTube get, but we never really managed to dig ourselves out of that hole. It got to a point where the same people who would cry elitist and say, oh, it's horrible when you're goth and you meet these gatekeepers in the club or these gatekeepers online who are like, oh, so you claim that you're a goth? Then name me 7 different Joy Division songs right now in the next 2 minutes, and you're not allowed to pull up Google or anything to look them up. Like, how much they hated that. And again, fair enough. Who doesn't hate gatekeepers and elitists? If you are a gatekeeper, you're chasing people out of your subculture and it will ultimately die off. But again, the same people who had made video after video about elitists, video after video about gatekeepers who had like almost ruined the subculture for them, were calling out other goth YouTubers for not being goth enough, or saying, oh, but this person just sells themselves out to Killstar and stuff, and that's not real goth. That's just like a, quick manufactured fast fashion brand and stuff. It just became too much. I am still goth. Whether I'm dressed like this or not, I'm still goth. I love the music, always will love the music, love the subculture as a whole. I just don't love what goth YouTube has become. So it was getting increasingly difficult to come up with good subject matter to discuss on my YouTube channel about it, because I was like, I'm not having fun with this. I have been so happy, though, with the direction my channel has taken now. I have been streaming on my Twitch channel, streaming spooky games almost every single night. I take a night off here and there just so I'm not overwhelmed, but almost every night. And it's amazing. I don't have a huge presence on my Twitch channel yet. I'm still pretty new. I've only been doing this for a month or so now. But I have someone who shows up to my streams regularly. They're very chatty. They have a lot of fun. They have a lot of insight on the game that I choose to play right now, and it's a great time. And I constantly see people who are either starting to gain a bigger following on YouTube or on Twitch, or they have gained a bigger following and they have like a decent amount of people show up to their live streams and their chat's kind of going and going all the time, constantly say, oh, I had, thought about playing such and such game, but I really didn't know how the views would be. I didn't know if it was going to negatively impact my channel or not. I didn't know if people would care, so I didn't play it. I just played it in private and didn't stream it. Or they'll play something that they had no interest in playing just because they know that game is doing well right now and it's going to garner them views. And I think that's really unfortunate that we're this far into YouTube existing and Twitch existing as platforms, and people still feel like their audience is all that matters. Your audience is very important. You can't grow without them. We all know that. Like, any fame that you garner is due to your fans. And I appreciate anyone who has followed me on any of my social media. I've worked very hard for it. TikTok right now is my largest platform, and I'm thankful for those people for watching my videos every day. But at the end of the day, you need to be using your platform to do what makes you happy first and foremost. If people are in your comments nonstop every day, all day, going, talk about this, talk about this, talk about this, and it's not something you're interested in, then don't talk about it. Just be like, sorry guys, I'm not interested in that subject, so it's not happening. Go to someone else's channel for that. If you want to switch up your content entirely from what it started as because something else is making you happy now, then switch it up. If you don't want to play a certain game, or you do want to play it, but you know that people won't be interested, that's fine. It took me years to get over 400 subscribers on my YouTube channel, and guess what? Ever since I started putting up my Twitch VODs, I have lost some of those subscribers. I think I was at like 476 or something when I started putting up my VODs, and I've lost like 2 or 3 people since then, and I've lost a whole bunch of views because a lot of the people who followed me did not follow for game-related content. And that's okay. They don't have to stay. They're not shackled to my office wall here, forced to watch me play games for endless hours. I am now streaming game content and putting it on this channel because it is what makes me happy and it's what I want to do. And if anyone wants to follow along with that journey, I am grateful for them. I'm happy that they're staying here with me, and I'm going to have fun with them. But at the end of the day, I'm not going back to content I don't want to make. I'm not going to force myself into a box on YouTube because it's what's going to make me YouTube famous. I'm happy doing what I'm doing, and the reason I'm bringing this up at the end of this video is because I want all of you to sit back and think, whether you have 30 subscribers or 300,000 subscribers, is the content I'm making stressing me out at all? And is the content I'm making truly making me happy once I put it up, regardless of the amount of views it gets? If it's stressing you out, stop. It shouldn't be stressful. It should be making you happy. It should be fun. Even if you have sponsorships, you should be having fun with the sponsorships. And if you're not happy every time you upload something, even if it only gets 3 views, what are you doing it for? You should be doing it because it makes you smile at the end of the day. I hope this video reached the right people. I hope that if you've been struggling with your content, it helped inspire you to switch things up into a different direction maybe, or to stop worrying so much about what the masses think about you or your content. Like I said, I'm very happy. I don't know when the next face type video will be on this channel, only when I have something like this to say now. But for right now, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing on my Twitch. The name for my Twitch, my handle, is going to be in my description if you want to follow along and have a good time with me. Like I said, I'm on almost every night around 9:30 p.m. playing spooky games, and I'd love to have you there. But until next time, do something that makes you happy so long as you're causing harm to nobody, and I'll see all of you again soon.